I've literally just noticed that we have got our Percy pig in the background, but I'm not going to move him because I'd feel really bad if I moved him out of the shot. So, hello everybody. I suppose I should say welcome to my YouTube channel. This is obviously the first episode on my channel. It's something that I have been putting off for probably about 2 years now, mainly just because I didn't really know where to start and I didn't want to bore everyone without really giving anything super exciting. But the reality is that I want to use this channel and use this platform to just share more of my process, to share more about myself as a coach, as a bodybuilder, as a person, because whilst I share a lot of what I do on Instagram from a training side of things, you don't really see everything that kind of goes on in the background. You don't see a lot of what goes on within my coaching processes. You don't see a lot of what goes on outside of the gym, and I want to be able to share more of that. I want for people to be able to understand more about me, who I am, and what I can obviously help you guys with as well. So hopefully these videos are going to be helpful on that front. I want to use this little introduction bit without making it too long to just give you guys a bit of an insight about myself. So I am a natural female bodybuilder. I'm currently 2 years into my 5-year off season as I am working towards competing in women's bodybuilding within natural federations. I actually competed for the first time back in 2020, and I competed in a non-tested federation in the bikini category, and I'll try and put a picture over here somewhere. That was a really interesting first experience for me competing, and I'm sure at some point I'll kind of go into the details in terms of my whole bodybuilding journey and how I got into doing what I'm doing and why I've made the decision to move away from the initial path that I was heading down. But even still, you know, moving from bikini to women's bodybuilding is a massive task, a task that I'm absolutely loving. And I was going to save doing this YouTube channel until I actually started my prep, but I absolutely love the off season, and I think that it's really important for me to share just more of the bodybuilding process and not just glorify that prep window. And whilst prep is absolutely amazing, I want to be able to show also, you know, how amazing off season is, and that you don't just have to only share the process when you're super lean. I want to be able to show the exciting things outside of that. So that's kind of where I'm at from a competitive side of things, from a bodybuilding side of things. So outside of that, I am also a full-time online coach. I coach natural athletes, both males and females, also competitive athletes and non-competitive athletes within that. I've been doing that full-time since last year, so since 2022 when I graduated from university. But I was actually coaching for a few years, and whilst I was doing my university degree, I began doing that in 2020. So I've been coaching for nearly 3 years now, and I absolutely love it with all of my heart. It's my dream job, and I'm so excited to share more of that on this channel as well, because again, like I said, with Instagram mainly being my training highlights, I don't get to show a lot of the coaching work that goes into that. And this is, along with bodybuilding, one of my true passions, because I love bodybuilding, I love training, I love being able to show what you can do with someone's physique, with someone's life, and how you can transform that. And the fact that I'm able to teach others how to do that means so much to me, especially because of how much it's impacted my life. But yeah, this video hasn't really been planned out yet, which is great, but I'm hoping to maybe take you through some of my week, show you how some of my days look. Potentially we'll do a session at some point, that would probably be helpful. But yeah, just show you some different clips from across the week, and then if you guys have any suggestions for things moving forwards from here, I would love to take that on board and obviously put that into place for you guys. So just to let you all know, it is actually a Saturday today. It's a rest day, so not too much planned. I'm just going to kind of take you through roughly how my rest days look, which is generally work, a little bit of time to chill, getting some expenditure in. So just gonna show you guys a little bit of work and then take you through the rest of my day. Also, just as a side note, I am literally obsessed with these candles. Honestly, this year, the only thing that I actually asked for and got for Christmas from my family were like candles and smelly things for the house. It's been like the first year at Christmas that I've started to feel like I'm actually getting old now that I'm genuinely just asking for like candles for Christmas. I always feel like that's such like a middle-aged thing to do, and I'm feeling like I'm already there even though I'm already in my 20s. So I don't know if that's normal or not, but if you're gonna buy me a gift, if anyone wants to buy me a gift, candles, they're the way to go. So I'm just out on a little bit of a rest day walk. It is actually a really, really nice day, but it's very, very windy, like so cold. My hand is pretty much frozen even just filming this. I'm hoping the audio actually works, but yeah, I always like to come out for a little bit of a walk on rest day. I like to use rest days to get out, have a little bit more time for myself, listen to a podcast, maybe listen to an audiobook. I've actually set a pretty big goal for this year to try and listen to more stuff on Audible, because with things like Audible there's really no excuse for not listening to any books, even if you haven't got the time to read them. I will, after this, go back, do some cardio. I have implemented 30 minutes of cardio now on my rest days. I do that the day before push. I'm just doing 30 minutes steady state, but keeping my resting heart rate between 140 and 150 throughout. Really enjoying that actually, so I'll hopefully show you that when I get back. But yeah, until now I'm just going to walk, and I'll catch up with you guys later. This is my at-home cardio fit, and I'm sorry, but that is absolutely terrible. But we don't care because I'm at home and nobody's seeing me apart from everybody in this video. But yeah, gonna do some cardio now on the lovely recumbent bike. Catch you in 30 minutes.
Ayo Chubbs.
Bless all your life, what you want to be. Sliding on them 1, 2, 3s. Oh Lord. She go crazy for money.
Some of the stretches.
It's a private mobility session.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You have to subscribe to be able to watch the mobility session.
Do the downward dog.
I'm not doing a fucking downward dog. Good morning. So we are actually on a new day now, after I had been rudely interrupted in my post-cardio mobility session. Decided to call it a day there, but just had my last couple of meals last night, went to bed, usual rest day. Today is actually a training day, so hopefully I'm going to have a little bit more to show you. Gonna crack on with some work right now, got some setup work to do. Team is growing this year, which is very exciting to see. So gonna crack on with that now, and then I'll catch up with you guys later. Hey Abby, I hope you're well. I hope you're having a lovely Sunday so far when you get around to watching this. So welcome to Team Ali's Bit. This is your onboarding video. So in this video we're going to go through everything that is involved in your initial setup, give you a little bit of a breakdown in terms of your long-term goals, how we're going to reach those in the short term, breaking down those phases for you, and then just breaking down the setup, within that, going through training, going through nutrition, and also taking you through the coaching sheets as well.
Tears fall from your eyes. For your husband, guess it from the moment it's important. Tell me that it's raining and it's pouring. Tell me that it's raining and it's pouring. I can see.
So to just quickly show you, I have just made my pre-workout, which is 65 grams of oats, 30 grams of mutant iso surge, that's what I'm using at the moment, with 20 grams of dark chocolate and a banana. And then I will take you through my intra workout as well, and I'll run you through the subs I had in this. I was going to show you me actually making this, but AJ very kindly had already made it for me, so I'm just going to show you what I put in it, and I'm going to also show you what I have for my pre-workout as well. So I'm just going to take you through my personal favourite supplements that I use in both my intra and what I'm going to use for my pre-workout today as well. All of my supplements that I will use throughout my videos are from Insight Subs. If you do shop at Insight Subs for your supplements, you can use my code LOS10 and you will get 10% off as well. My intra, I obviously put 5 grams of creatine, and then I do for my EAAs, I currently use Essential Max from Strom.
This to me is probably one of the best tasting EAAs that I've had, on top of it actually just sitting well in my stomach. I've noticed that with a lot of EAAs, I sometimes get like either stomach distension or it just does not feel comfortable throughout the session, which is not something that you want ever, but especially in off season, is not nice when you're full anyway. So Strom, great pick for me. I do use some other ones every now and then. I like to rotate, so if ever I do swap these out or use anything different, I'll update you guys, but this is the one that I'm using currently. I'm really enjoying this one as well. For my carbs, I'm actually using the Applied Nutrition Carb X. One of the main reasons that I'm using this is because this is actually unflavoured. So when, like I said, I'm in off season, I don't want to be having loads of flavours in my intra-workout. It's not something that I want to be making me feel sick during the session. Pairing it with something that's actually not got any flavouring in is really nice, and then it can just sit alongside the flavour of the EAAs, and it's just really nice to drink throughout the session compared to having something that's got like 1,000,001 different flavours on top of it. In terms of pre-workout, what I'm having at the moment is actually Train Smart by Unrivaled. I've been having this ever since I got it, which I think I got this maybe like about a month or so ago. Honestly, this is probably one of the best pre-workouts that I have ever had. Caffeine intake is not super high, so it doesn't send my heart rate like absolutely through the roof, because if I have something like Defib or MB Pre, which I do really like when I'm a little bit lighter, but if I have that when I'm heavier, it sends me way too far west. So this is literally perfect at the moment. I've been having between 5 to like 7 grams of this pre-workout, and this is absolutely spot on. So I'll be having this today for push, so I will make that now, and then I'll probably film some bits when I get to the gym later on.
All right guys, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of a voiceover now as we have arrived at the gym. I'm sitting down here, I'm just writing out my logbook. I always like to take a nice little 5 or 10 minutes to just sit, write things out, plan things out, look at the session, actually visualize what I want to do. I did spend a little bit of time where I stopped doing this and I used to just come and go straight into the session, and I just found I wasn't mentally quite as prepared. When I'm coming from a busy day of work or whatever it is, I want to feel focused as I go into the session. And this is actually my first movement. So I started off with a dumbbell height incline press. I did not record this on the camera because I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is not something I'm going to do all the time. If I do some training footage in the future, I'm going to get it filmed professionally and done properly, but also just done by somebody else so that I don't have to do it while I train. Like, my time to train is time for me to focus and have that headspace, and also just to be able to focus on the work and not worry about setting up a tripod or anything else. So this was my set from today, 24s for 10. They were okay. I'm gonna stick with the 24s for a bit longer before I move on to the 26s, really solidify those ones. After the dumbbells, we move on to the strive press. In this session, I absolutely love this piece. You don't see this in many places, so it's great that we have that at Ultraflex. This is my top set here. This is a movement that does take a little bit of time to progress. I say this all the time, but with a lot of pressing movements, as you know, a natural, it's probably gonna take some time for you to see, you know, big leaps in progress. It's not like a squat or a hip hinge or anything that really uses bigger muscle groups, but also almost like the whole force of your body to move the load. You still need to be just as aggressive and just as determined to progress these movements, but you do have to be patient with it as well to an extent. And this was just before I went into my back off set. I think me and AJ here were actually discussing whether we wanted to load this on a different profile, because you can change that on the Strive and the Prime pieces. Strive is basically like the old Prime, and then we decided we weren't going to do it anyway, so this is just me trying to refocus myself then into the set after getting amped up and then coming out of it and then coming back into it again. I think we all know those moments. Back off set went good. One cue that I actually really want to give for pressing movements in general, which is probably the most neglected or just unknown or unthought thing to do really, is just make sure that your elbow joint and your wrist joint are stacked in line with the bar path or the handles or the dumbbells or whatever it is that you're doing. That's going to give you a ability to obviously stay stacked with
the actual handle with the bar and actually be able to drive force well and effectively and to remain strong. It's also going to massively limit your chances or your risk of injury. So if you're going to cue anything, that's one of the first things that I would just make sure you prioritize. Often that's a big reason why people find presses either feel uncomfortable or are actually causing them any issues or any niggles as well. So just be mindful of that one. So after those 2 presses, we move on to the remaining movements of the session. So that's kind of our main pressing work out of the way. I've started doing that at the start of the session because it just feels a little bit better for me rather than doing like my lateral work at the start, which I used to do, and I do have that in my other push session, but here I just like to go straight in with my presses. Works a little bit better. So from then on we move on to the prime dip. This is the best dip I've ever used. It's absolutely fantastic. I maybe need to lock in a little bit more here. Seatbelts on dips are immense, so maybe I'll get a little bit of a seatbelt to lock myself in here, but overall that's one of my favorite dips ever. It's a great movement. I really do like the prime pieces in general, so here you can see I move on to the lateral as well. The only thing with the prime pieces is that they are quite big, so you'll find that with, for example, like the presses, they're set quite wide, so unless you're basically massive, unfortunately I'm not massive, you might have to just adjust the way you either set up onto it or just maybe pick a different movement for that. So when I did that lateral, I just sit a little bit over to the side. I do it single arm because I can just align so much better with the pads. After the lateral, we move on to an incline fly. I do this at a slight incline because ultimately I don't really need lower pec. The judges are not going to be seeing my lower pecs, but a little bit of upper pec. I do still need some pecs for bodybuilding. So we move on to this movement. I really like this with the D handles. We use some longer D handles here. I think we got these from Amazon actually. Just stops the cables from like rubbing against your arms across the set. That's really, really annoying. This is also a movement that is a bit easier for you to do with a partner to pass you the D handles or the cuffs or whatever you're using. But if you are doing it solo, having these longer D handles makes it so much easier to get into. So if you can get some of these, I get some off Amazon. I don't think they were that expensive and they're a huge, huge game changer for this. Then next is our second lateral movement. You can see I'm just kind of making sure that I'm happy with my position first before I set up. This is a movement that we recently started doing. So as opposed to doing a lying cuff lateral where you set up on the bench in front, we've started doing this lying Y raise. It does incorporate a little bit more front delt here, but it just keeps our position exactly the same every time. I actually got this from seeing Nick Gloff do this. It looked great, so we started implementing that. And I really enjoy this, to be fair. It feels so much more comfortable. I feel so much more stable. My position is exactly the same every single time, so I don't need to worry about, is the bench in the exact same place? Are the cables in the exact same place? Have I taken my arm path exactly the same? It's super, super easy to measure, and that's always something that I'm looking for with my movements when I'm logging them on a week-to-week basis. So if you feel like you're really comfortable and confident with your lateral movements in general, this could be something to try. Moving forward, you can maybe give it a shot and see how that one feels. After that, I just finish up with some arm work. So I do a single arm push down and a single arm overhead extension. I do pretty much all of my arm work unilaterally. Just helps me to align a little bit better. I also struggle naturally with a little bit of like elbow and bicep tendonitis. So if I'm just unfavorably aligned, it just aggravates that a little bit more. And on top of that, I have a slight imbalance in strength between both my left and my right side. So I always like to do my weaker side first and then just match that with my strongest side. That's always the best thing that you can do if you have imbalances with any body part. But that is pretty much everything for this session. Like I say, next time I'll maybe look towards getting somebody else to film this, and then you can actually see things a little bit better and you can take some more stuff away from these videos too.
So I'm going to cap this one off at that session. I'm so sorry that this video has been relatively poorly planned. There's not been too much directed in it, but I mainly just wanted to show you guys roughly what my days look like, which honestly, as a bodybuilder, there's not too much exciting going on. Most days are kind of like Groundhog Day, but hopefully in the future I can actually do some more directed videos, do some more topic-based videos, like I mentioned, do some higher quality training videos for you guys as well. But if anyone has any suggestions or anything they would like to see, please do just let me know. Let me know in the comments below, send me a message via Instagram, I'll always get back to you. But outside of that, I just want to say a huge thank you for watching this. If you did get to the end, I do really appreciate it. If you could like the video, if you could subscribe, that would be absolutely awesome. But other than that, I will make sure to get some better content moving forwards from here. And I just want to say a huge thank you. So I will catch you guys in the next one.